Welcome to r/am I the a-hole, where OP wants their partner to give in to a sexist tradition.
Okay.
And stick around for more controversial Am I the a-hole posts, such as OP picking a guy who bullied his little brother as his best man, and OP letting their guest wash her feet in a bidet toilet. What the fuck? Am I the a-hole for begging my girlfriend to uphold a sexist tradition just so she can make a good first impression? I have a big family that's incredibly close. We have big family dinners every few months where we all meet at my great-grandfather's estate and eat together. Typically, how this works is that the women go cook for the time they're there and the men don't, which I'm fully aware is sexist as hell. That being said, I am one of the youngest people in my family, and my protests mean literally nothing. Some of those women choose not to cook. However, this is usually met with a level of ostracizing. The women who don't cook are wives and long-term girlfriends, so they kind of already have a good family relationship doctored in. When I've seen new partners not cook, it's gone bad. Like completely ostracized, not speaking, cattiness, rudeness, etc. This dinner will be in 2 weeks, and my girlfriend was asked if she would attend. Initially, she said yes, which is great. I want her to meet everyone and for everyone to get used to her being around, but when I explained to her the tradition, she was understandably bothered. I told her that I understood where she was coming from, however, it was best for everyone if she just played along. I told her this isn't a permanent thing and that I am only asking her to do this so she can avoid bad treatment from the rest of the family. This is her first impression, and I don't think it's best if we cause waves. She told me that it's unacceptable and that if she has to do that, she will not be going. I've tried to find a compromise with her on this, but she won't budge and she's pissed at me. She told me that if I think it's acceptable to make her do this, I am just as bad as everyone else, while my point is that she needs to make a good first impression. God, I cannot wait for stupid traditions like this to die out. Like, these are not going to exist in a normal household 20, 30, 40 years from now. I want to sympathize with OP because I think his intentions are good. Like, he wants his girlfriend to be accepted by the family, but you shouldn't go against your own values just so that people will like you. It's also OP's responsibility to help break those barriers. Exhibit A, help in the kitchen. Make it known not only to yourself, but to your relatives, your guy relatives. They should be helping in the kitchen. It's no longer just a woman's job. So in my eyes, the only plan of action is if you both go, but you're both in the kitchen the same amount of time. Maybe you go help for 30 minutes and then you go hang out for 30 minutes. You make it clear that, hey, I don't mind helping. I'm a good girlfriend. I'm a good guest. You guys should like me, but I don't agree with the values and traditions that your family has, and that's okay. These issues aren't one-sided. It shouldn't just be the girls that are standing up for these values. It should be the guys as well. So, homie, gotta say, you're the a-hole here. Apologize to your girlfriend, but also make that effort to start breaking down these stupid traditions. Am I the a-hole for choosing my brother's school bully over him for my wedding? My brother in middle school had a bully, Max. School kind of sucked and didn't do anything about it. I am 4 years older than my brother and Max. I didn't have the money to go to college, so I spent a few years saving up cash. I went to a community college and Max was there with me. We were in the same track, so we worked together before. I didn't get close to him until my grandfather died, and my family didn't tell me until the day of the funeral. It was rough, but he really helped me out. I brought up his bullying and he told me he would send a letter to apologize. My brother got it and basically said, I don't forgive him, which is his right. I'm 34 now and I'm still close with him. He is being my best man. I told my family this and most were happy since they know how much he has helped me out before. My brother, on the other hand, hates it. He told me he wouldn't come to my wedding if he is invited. We got into an argument with me just saying you can't be in the same building and not talk to someone. He claims it's the principle of it and won't go to the wedding unless I uninvited him. He said I am picking a bully over him, but it's been almost 15 years and he has helped me so much. I'm definitely going against the grain here. Everyone on this thread was saying that he's the a-hole, but I don't think so. I mean, the fact that it's been 15 years, I get it, like hardcore bullying isn't good. It causes trauma with people, but honestly, bro, if it's been 15 years and it's still affecting you this much, kind of a you problem. I'm not trying to be mean here, but like, you gotta let stuff go in order to move on in life, and he apologized. You don't have to accept the apology, but the sentiment's there. Especially in middle school, bro, like, we all did really dumb stuff. We were all extremely angsty because we were going through puberty and super horny all the time. I probably did some really things when I was in middle school, and I hope nobody holds me to that, because middle school me is not the same as 25-year-old me. It sounds like they just need to put them in the same room and let them figure out their issues. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole, but like I've said in previous videos, I could be wrong. I would love to know your opinions and why down in the comments about this post or any post in this video. Am I the a-hole for leaving my husband at home while I spend the week at my brother's because of how he buys groceries? I've been in a committed relationship with my husband for 17 years, and overall, things have been great. We've had a few rough patches, but what's important to note is that while he earns more than me and is considered the main provider, I have a substantial trust fund that ensures we're financially stable. I work part-time as a teacher while attending university, earning less than him, and most of my income goes towards tuition. Our household income exceeds $200,000 annually, while the average in our area is below $50,000. One ongoing issue we have is my husband's frugality. He likes to control my spending and have the final say on how he uses his earnings. It's worth mentioning that I've never used any of his income, and I have no intention of doing so. However, the main point of contention between us is his frequent visits to food banks. Despite having more than enough food at home, he insists on going to food banks to save money. He intentionally looks disheveled and uses our beat up car to blend in, even though he's never experienced food scarcity. I've explained to him the need for food donations in our community, even showing him social media posts from local food banks, but he remains indifferent. I suggested he volunteer or donate to gain firsthand experience, but he refuses. The unfortunate part is that since we're never short on food, most of what he brings home ends up getting thrown away. Today, I discovered our fridge filled with fresh produce and meat that clearly didn't come from our regular grocery store. When I confronted him, he admitted to going to a food bank after seeing a Facebook post about a donation of fresh food. People on social media were already asking if any was left, and there wasn't. I showed him these comments, but he brushed them off, claiming people should have gone earlier. Exhausted by my situation, I packed a bag and went to stay with my brother for the weekend, asking for space to think things over. My husband accuses me of overreacting, being vindictive, and threatens to go back to the food banks regardless of my feelings. His family is also messaging me, calling me an a-hole, and urging me to stop interfering with his choices. I turned off my phone, but now they're bombarding my brother with messages. Thankfully, he supports my decision and ignores them. All I want is to enjoy the rest of my week without being angry at my husband. Yes, I could let this go and not scald him, but the food he takes could have gone to people who truly need it. I'm not leaving my husband, but I need a few days away to gain some clarity. I mean, to be honest, you should leave your husband. He sounds like a dickhead. Definitely not the asshole. Your husband needs to get checked. I mean, if you're dead set on staying with this awful human being, what I'd do is I'd call the food banks ahead of time and see if they have like a blacklist or something. Literally get them to put your husband on a blacklist. Be like, hey, yo, this guy does not need food. Get his face in front of the food banks so that they know not to give him any food. That's the only possible solution that I'd have, other than just leaving him. Like I said, sounds like a terrible human being. If he's doing this kind of terrible stuff, I can only imagine what other terrible stuff he's doing. Am I the a-hole for refusing to not attend my wife's baby shower? Last Saturday, my wife had her baby shower, which turned out to be a very long event from midday until 10 p.m. A 10-hour baby shower? What are you guys doing at this thing? Like curing cancer? Prior to this, while we were planning the baby shower and sending out invites, I had initially intended to invite my entire family. However, my wife informed me that the baby baby shower was going to be female only, which confused me. In my family, I have attended baby showers for all of my female relatives, so it felt like this was a cultural difference. Unfortunately, this meant that I had to embarrassingly uninvite people after already sending out invitations. Initially, I didn't make a big deal of it because it was my wife's special day. However, later on, she told me that the no men rule extended to me as well. I thought she was joking, but she was serious, explaining that it's customary in her family to have a ladies-only baby shower. At this point, I became upset. In a baby shower that I was paying for and planning, I was being excluded from my own wife's event in my own home. I found it absurd. The party lasted about 10 hours and I was expected to leave my own house for the entire duration. We argued back and forth about this issue. It just seemed ridiculous to me that as her husband, I was not allowed to attend my own wife's baby shower. Her sister overheard our argument and supported my wife's stance, saying that men are typically not invited to baby showers and that my presence would ruin the atmosphere and vibe. The disagreement occurred 3 weeks before the actual baby shower, and even on the day before the event, I tried reasoning with my wife again to let me stay, but she still refused. She also told some of her family members about our argument because I got an angry text from her mother telling me to just listen to what she says since the baby shower is for her, not me, and she can decide whoever attends or doesn't. I still refuse to leave since it's our home and I'm literally paying for the event. I managed to compromise by just chilling in the backyard where everyone else was inside. My wife still wasn't happy about it though. I'm not super familiar with how baby showers go, but what? I don't know if they know this, but both people made the baby and both people are gonna be in charge of the baby. It does seem really weird to me that OP would be planning this whole thing at his house for the baby he's about to have and not be able to go. Maybe I just don't have enough knowledge on this, but in my eyes, you're not an a-hole. Your wife is an a-hole. The only thing that I could think of that maybe you guys could have gone around this is have like 2 separate baby showers. I guess that would get complicated, but I mean, I get what he's saying. Yes, she has to birth the child, but the child is still both of theirs. Sounds like another tradition that we need to get rid of ASAP. Also, am I dumb or are baby showers normally thrown by like somebody else? Is it normal to throw your own baby shower? I don't know. I don't have a baby. Thank God. Am I the a-hole for not telling strangers that I wash my behind? I, 30s female, come from a country where it is customary to wash your bottom after you go number 2. It is a standard practice like in many other countries, and every household has bathrooms with bidets. I currently live in a European country where it is not that common, but you can still find a few houses that do have a bidet. Some people here wash and others wipe, but neither choice is strange to the other group. I happen to live in a house with 2 bathrooms, one small one with a toilet and a sink, and a large one that also has a bathtub and a bidet. Last weekend, my wife, 40s, and I had a bunch of friends over for a barbecue since the weather is nice and we have a terrace. One of my friends brought Kelly, 30s, not real name, who is from the US and I've never met before. Everything was going well and I thought Kelly was nice. I was grilling sausages and at one point I take one out to give it to someone and I drop it on Kelly's feet, who was wearing flip-flops. I apologize profusely and hand Kelly a napkin. She said not to worry, but she preferred to wash, so she leaves while I stay in the terrace cleaning the floor. She comes back a moment later and comments on how cute that her bathroom has a little feet washer. My wife and I were like, what? And when she repeats, I say, oh, you mean the bidet. Kelly did not know what a bidet was, and when I explained to her, she was shocked and asked if we really use it to wash after going to the toilet. And I say that my wife doesn't. She's from a country where this is not common, but I do, and that's when she lost it. She got agitated and furious and asking how come we didn't tell her, to which I said I've never had to explain to anyone what a bidet was before. She said we should have warned her, that we need to warn our guests that I wash my behind there, that it is not normal, and that I was an a-hole. I started naming some of the many countries that do wash as a cultural norm, while also stating that here, even if people don't have one, everyone knows what it is. But she went completely nuts when she realized that the little towel hanging next to it is for drying my bottom. Seems like she used it to dry her feet and hands. She left shortly after along with my friend. I don't think I did anything wrong. My wife thinks the same, but my friend said that I should have apologized, and another friend said she understood Kelly's point. I mean, yeah, maybe you should have just been like, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you, but that is in no way the OP's fault. This sucks because this is just another person who makes Americans look so damn stupid. Hey, I promise I'm not that dumb. I'm kind of, but only this much, you know? In Kelly's defense, though, the first time I saw one of those bidets, I didn't know what it was, but I also figured since it was next to the toilet, it was nothing good. Definitely not something I should stick my feet in. Her logic is so flawed. Like, you can make that argument about anything in a house, and at that point, you'd have to give like a full-ass disclosure to everybody who walked in your house. Imagine walking to your friend's house and they're like, oh, hey, make sure to sign this 10-page contract that outlays things like, hey, the knives are sharp, and also this thing is a bidet that we use on our butts, and also the vibrators are in the third drawer of my wife's dresser, so don't open that. Like, what? Stupid. Not the a-hole. Really funny story, though. Kelly's probably super embarrassed, but honestly, this is just a really funny story. Like, if I washed my feet in a bidet, I'd be embarrassed, but then I'd be sharing it with you guys. Speaking of oversharing funny moments from my life to you and to everybody on the internet, I have a podcast. I know, another straight white male with a podcast, but I promise we're halfway decent. We're almost 120 episodes in. Here's a small little clip from last week's podcast. This is the vagina one.
Oh, not very like accurate. It's there, but
I guess you're kind of right. This is kind of too deep.
if I walked past it, I'd have to be told like we're going up to the vagina statue. Definitely a guy made that.
Well, now look at this one. Do Buddhists
That
just
looks like
not look at genitals?
That looks like a Minecraft.
You can check that out with the link in the description, or there will be a pop-up on the end screen. Speaking about that end screen, that's all the Am I the A-hole posts I had for you today. Make sure to subscribe. Go watch another one of my videos here and go watch my podcast here. I will see you guys on Wednesday.